Welcome to Social Studies with Miss Pritchard. This video is for Global 1 and it is going to cover prehistoric human development. It will take you from hominids walking upright all the way through the Neolithic Revolution and the start of farming. Words you need to know. Physical anthropology, that is the study of the physical development of humans. In other words, changes that occurred in the hominid body to allow us to be the humans we are today. Bipedal, that is walking upright on two legs. It is our first human characteristic. And although other land mammals can walk on two legs for short distances, they are pretty much all quadrupeds. Even the great apes lean forward on their hands when they walk. A hominid, that is a bipedal human or human-like creature. Bones to look at. Anthropologists use 3 different bones to determine if a creature was bipedal. The first is the pelvis. Those are your hip joints. If you are a bipedal creature, your pelvis is going to be very vertical, whereas if you are a quadruped, it is going to be tilted back with the bottom jutting out behind the front. The femur, that is the thigh bone. If you are a bipedal creature, it is going to curve in towards the knees or point in so that your knees are under the center of gravity. And the skull is the third bone, and if a creature is bipedal, the spine goes up into the center of the skull, whereas if it's a quadruped, it's going to go into the back of the skull. Hominid evidence. There is evidence of hominids all over the world. It has been found in Europe, Asia, and Africa. The oldest evidence has been discovered in Africa, the region of East Africa that includes the Great Rift Valley and goes all the way down south into South Africa. Since the oldest evidence is in Africa, all hominids, and therefore humans, originated in Africa. The key discovery that started this was in 1959 when doctors Lewis and Mary Leakey discovered a 1.76 million year old jawbone. They named it Zinjanthropus. They discovered it in the Old Divide Gorge of East Africa. The second discovery was in 1974 in Hadar, East Africa, and that was Dr. Donald Johansen. He found 40% of a female hominid skeleton. She proved to be 3.6 million years old, and she is named Lucy for the Beatles song Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds that was playing on the radio when she was first discovered. The third discovery came in 1994 in South Africa. Ron Clark discovered a complete hominid skeleton. This is really, really rare because generally you only find bits and pieces. And this skeleton proved to be 3.2 to 3.6 million years old, and it is named Littlefoot. The fourth discovery was made in 2008 in Malapa, South Africa. Lee Berger discovered 2 million year old partial skeletons of a juvenile male and an adult female. They are a transitional hominid species, meaning they're much more similar to modern humans than the earlier skeletons that we have found. And they are named MH1 and MH2. Cultural anthropology. Culture is a way of life. It includes your belief system, your government, work, social structure, the use of resources to meet needs. Most people, when they think about culture, though, they think about food because each culture has its own food. Cultural anthropology is the study of the development of human culture. How have the belief systems been shaped? How has region shaped the way people live? How have things spread from one culture to another? This is called cultural diffusion. All of that falls under cultural anthropology. Early cultures begin to develop around the world about 20,000 years ago. Neanderthals, these would be the cavemen. You see them a lot in the Geico commercials. 600,000 years ago to 22,000 years ago is when they were around. They lived in groups. They used sophisticated tools and fire. And they buried their dead. This is key because this is how we know about them. And if they were burying their dead, it's showing a belief in the afterlife. In other words, the development of a belief system. The Shanidar Cave in Iraq has the bones of 8 adults and 2 infants, and they range from 65,000 to 35,000 years ago. And they have flowers, and there's evidence that they survived injuries and illnesses that required long-term care. Cro-Magnons. This is another step towards modern humans. They are modern Homo sapiens, not Homo sapiens sapiens like we are. And they began to appear about 35,000 years ago. They also lived in groups, and they developed sewing needles, fishing hooks, canoes, and art. They left us many, many cave paintings in areas like France, Spain, and even in Africa. And they are more adaptable than the Neanderthals, and that is why they survived the climate change through the Ice Age. The Neolithic Revolution. This is when humans really settled down and we see the start of civilization. All early cultures are nomadic. They followed their food source from place to place in set migration patterns. Then, around 10,000 BCE, that is before the Common Era, farming develops in different areas around the world. So this is about 12,000 years ago, people started planting food. And this allows them to settle in one area, and it drastically changes your culture.